What's good, everyone? It's your boy Nazi with another video for the channel. Welcome back to DMVSportsZone. And I got my guy Tim, back on the live stream tonight. Washington Commanders live stream. Tim, how are you doing, bro? And yeah, for the few people out there who might not know who you are, can you promote your stuff?
Yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, I'm doing good today. It's been a long week with work, but it's good. And but it's been a fun week also with all the stuff going on. We won on Sunday, of course, and the game was crazy last night. It was a crazy game on Monday night. So a lot of stuff in the sports world as well. But no, my name's Tim, and I'm from the Tim Sports Talk. And I do a lot of play-by-plays, and we have a couple of shows as well of Washington Commanders content. So there you go.
Yes, great content creator in our community. And you mentioned last night the craziness that came with that. What are your thoughts on the game? Chiefs Chargers. Chiefs found a way to win. Crazy game though.
Yeah, I would actually more say that the Chargers found ways to lose that game. Asante Samuel had 2 dropped interceptions. Gerald Everett stayed on the field even though he was tired. Like, he was calling himself off, and then, of course, Brandon Staley with the young mentality of, we need to keep going, we need to put the pressure on, and that caused him to have a bad route, miscommunication, and that ended up being, instead of a 7-point play for the Chargers, it ended up being a 99-yard touchdown return for the Chiefs. So, honestly, the Chiefs are obviously tremendous. Mahomes is incredible, but a lot of ways the Chargers lost that game instead of the Chiefs winning that game.
No, I completely agree with you. Justin Herbert getting injured, rib injury. I mean, that definitely affected things towards the end of the game. You could see him hobbling
Big
out
time.
there on the field, and he threw a ball straight into the dirt on one play. And then next play, he threw a 40-yard pass, which was absolutely crazy.
He could have easily got the first down on that play, and he was in such pain. He was, like, waddling, and he just threw it. Like, it's like, if any other time, he would have easily got that first down because it was 3rd and 2, which would have been a big play. And instead, but then the next play, he throws a 40-yard bomb to DeAndre Carter, the guy that we let go.
Yeah. He caught that pass, but couldn't catch it against the Cowboys.
Yes.
Yeah. No, but I got a lot of love for DeAndre Carter, and he did go to a great situation in LA, and hope for the best for him. But in terms of that division, bro, Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos, my gosh, they're all stacked.
No, the Broncos suck. They lost to the Seahawks, okay?
I mean, first game of the season. I know there are definitely a lot of people who are reacting that way, but, like, come on. First game of the season.
They're a great team. And they should have won that game. That's another game. They shot the 2 fumbles on the 1-yard line. They easily should have won that football game. But just silly. I actually am not a fan of their coaching hire. Nathaniel Hackett, I thought was not very. The time management was horrible.
Terrible at the end of the game.
Yeah. And this throughout, like, I just did not feel like his team was ready. It was not good. Yeah. Call timeouts, dude. What are you doing? What are you just letting the clock run for? Like, even if you're going to kick a field goal, call timeout. You never know. Because then you would have 2 timeouts. It was like a minute left. You could have got the ball with 10 seconds left or something. The whole thing was. And then he comes back and says, I should have gone for it on 4th and 5. That was weird to me that they didn't go for it. You have Russell Wilson. Put it into his hands, bro. What are you... Because Russell Wilson actually did not play bad. They just couldn't punch it in once they got to the 1-yard line. Like, Wilson actually had a pretty good game. But, yeah, it was definitely a wild game.
Agreed. But, and it makes you think, why did Russell Wilson go to the Broncos? Why didn't he come home to Virginia and play for the team that was also 7-10 last year? I mean, good situation, not in as tough a division, but that's another story for another day that we talked about extensively in the offseason. But Washington won week 1 against the Jaguars on Sunday. Last quick thoughts on the win against the Jaguars on Sunday. And let's start with Wentz. Like, how would you grade his performance on the day?
Yeah, the 1 interception was really, really bad. And he had also a couple of things where he just was late on throws and missed a couple of things. But we seen why he was the number 2 overall pick, didn't we? A 6'5" strong-armed dude that absolutely slung it. That TD pass to Terry, the final one to Jahan. He just flicks of the wrist, and it goes 40, 50, 60 yards sometimes. And that's something we completely have lacked, especially for the last 5 years. But Kirk didn't have this kind of arm either. So yeah, it's fun to watch him. But the one interception was really bad, the one to Jahan, and the other one I think was more of a tremendous play by Trayvon Walker. He was incredible, but like he wasn't even supposed to be in that gap. Like he just read screen and absolutely jumped the route.
I get that, Tim, but if it was any other quarterback, in my opinion, why throw? Why? There's nobody open. Like, why? It's just so unnecessary. Just throw it into the dirt. Like, that's usually what good quarterbacks do. They throw the ball into the dirt. Sometimes they throw it at like the cleats of the guy that they're intending it towards and stuff, so they can avoid an interception. But like, that was just a bad play. Like, I don't know. A lot of people, I've seen it. Like, over the course of the week, a lot more people are excusing that play because of the incredible play that Trayvon Walker did and all that. And kudos to him. That was a great play. But, like, that's still a ball you never should throw. Like, you're in a crowd. There's nobody open. Like, just doesn't make any sense.
Well, it was like an inside screen to the running back, right? They were trying to set him up in the inside of the line. That was the play design, was it?
Yeah.
That's how I saw it as. And he was trying to get it to his running back, and Walker was tremendous. That's just like he deserved to be the number one pick. And we'll talk some when we get to the Lions what I think about Aiden Hutchinson. But Trayvon Walker was absolutely legit in that football game. But I thought our offense overall was solid. I know a lot of people think we like took our foot off the gas. No, we continued to throw the ball. That's why we had 2 interceptions. And then also we had a fumble from Curtis Samuel. We should have had points before the half, but that fumbles. So 3 turnovers is why we couldn't score in the middle of the game. I thought Scott Turner called a great game, and I don't think he took his foot off the gas at all. It was just, unfortunately, 3 turnovers that caused the middle of the game where we couldn't do anything as far as score points. But the first 2 drives ended up with points. The last 2 drives ended up with points. I thought the offense looked really good. Yeah,
I mean, who can forget the offensive rookie of the week? Jahan Dotson as well, 2 touchdowns, 40 yards. Terry McLaurin also had a great touchdown as well. Curtis Samuel, you mentioned it. I mean, I didn't even prepare this, Tim, but I just want your thoughts on this. I think this team was actually going to be, or this offense is going to be very pass happy until Brian Robinson comes back. Do you have thoughts on that?
So to clarify, you think that once Brian Robinson, we're going to start relying much more on the run?
I'm not going to say we're going to go entirely into, being a run-heavy offense or anything like that. I think it's going to be much more balanced once B-Rob comes back. That's just my take. But right now, I think we're going to be – I mean, how many carries did Antonio Gibson have last week? Like, not as many as he could have. Not as many as he could have, though.
Yeah, I think it was like 14 or something in the game. Yeah, 14 carries, 58 yards. I just looked. Yeah, and I thought Gibby looked a lot better than he has in the past, which is good. But I think it's because of how we were using
Jaguars.
him. Yeah, but it was also how we were using him. But even the Jaguars have a revamped front 7. They have Trayvon Walker. They got Devin Lloyd. They got Chad Muma. They got the dude from Atlanta. I can never say his name.
Alubacon?
Yeah,
something like that.
And the leading tackler in the league last year. So I don't think that the Jacksonville Jaguars have a inept front 7, but they're not great either. That's fine. But no, I thought Gibby looked solid. But I love how we used him in Curtis in that dual running back set, and it's so hard to predict which way we're going to run the football even. And we also threw it to him downfield, that great corner route. Yeah, I really liked our offense. The offense looked really, really good. And if Carson could eliminate those 2 turnovers or even limit to only 1, 4 touchdowns. We haven't had 4 touchdowns since 2017 or 2015? One of the 2. 2017 was the last time. So
Carson Wentz hasn't had 4 touchdowns in a minute as well, right? Yeah, I think so. I think it was 2017.
Didn't he have a good 2019 year, or did I make that up in my head? Maybe
he did, but I saw something about 4 touchdowns first time Carson Wentz has had that since in a while. Like, and I'm assuming
2019 would still be a while. So that would be 3 years ago that he had 4 touchdowns. So I thought Scott Turner, I thought Carson Wentz looked good, I thought all our receivers looked good, and your boy Jahan. I know you want to shove that one in there, and he looked great, and great maybe is a little overstating, but a clutch touchdown was tremendous. And that catch was nasty. It was awesome. Just, 3 catches, 40 yards. How much do you give credit? But whatever. The 2 touchdowns were great. He got open on that first one in a great way, a great route to get wide open on that one. So I'm not taking anything away. It's just obviously, and if anything, that was definitely a huge plus, and he was Offensive Rookie of the Week for a reason. He earned it. But yes, you don't like my assessment?
He's gonna be a stud. He's gonna be a stud. He's already a stud. He's gonna be a great player for us. And I think 2 things on that offense. Also, it was since 2017. Just look that up.
Okay.
For 4 touchdowns. The first time he's thrown 4 touchdowns since 2017. And again, wow. But in terms of the offense, I think the 2 things that really stuck out for me, you mentioned Antonio Gibson. I loved seeing him out there as a receiver specifically, like giving him targets in the passing game. We've been pleading this offensive staff to do that for years, and they finally did that, I believe, on Sunday. And then also Curtis Samuel, man, a healthy Curtis Samuel is different. He's different. He breaks ankles. He scores touchdowns. I mean,
he was incredible. That one where he did on, I think it was Devin Lloyd. Oh. He broke him in the middle of the field. I don't know. That was incredible. Devin Lloyd got put on stun lock. I mean, he didn't know what to do after that move. So, yeah, Curtis was great. Then he had a spin move on the left side as well to get extra yards on a first down. Yeah, the offense was a lot of fun. Now, the defense left a lot to be desired.
Perfect segue. There you go. The defense.
13 penalties for Jacksonville certainly helped. And the just dropped passes. I mean, Travis Etienne dropped a walk-in touchdown. Was it DJ Chark that also dropped an easy touchdown that was left? I don't think it was. No, wait, DJ Chark is not there anymore.
So, no, he's not there. Yeah.
Christian Kirk, and who was the other receiver? Marvin Jones. I don't know which one it was. Maybe it was Marvin Jones. I'm getting it confused now because I've been watching Detroit Lions film. That's who played where DJ Chark plays now. But sorry, I think it was Marvin Jones that dropped the touchdown on again just wide open. So the defense is a problem. It's going to be a problem.
I still can't get over the Etienne drop. That was crazy. Fourth down. I mean, he's wide open. Just drops it.
Dude, it's like wild. He was playing like a deep DB on a Hail Mary. Like he just took it and just threw it to the ground. Like nobody's catching this one. Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Jamin Davis getting called out by defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio yesterday?
Yeah, so I went and watched it after I heard about it, and it wasn't as condemning. What's that?
Yeah, no, same. Yeah, it wasn't as
people definitely blew that up as, of course, they're going to when he says something like that about your first round pick. But yeah, he does need to play better. Both linebackers need to play better. But Jack Del Rio, you need to call better defense. Okay, or coach better, because your secondary doesn't know what they're doing, and it's very frustrating. And we saw another one, 3rd and 9. They drop back to pass. Kendall Fuller starts 10 yards off the ball. Then he backs up off the ball. And it's an easy 11-yard pitch and catch out route where Kendall Fuller's 5 yards away from the receiver. And you're just like, what? Why? Why is that ever in the playbook? So it's very frustrating for Jack Del Rio. And but yes, I want to see Jamin Davis play better as well. And Ron Rivera co-signed with Jack Del Rio to say that, I mean, he's right. It's true. And I did notice in preseason that he played with a lot more speed, a lot more intensity, and it seemed like he was not stuck in the mud anymore. That was his big problem last year. He was thinking way too much, and his feet, even though he runs a 4.3, looks like he's as slow as David Mayo because he just will not move, right? Or John Bostic out there. It's get after it. Come on. And in the preseason, he was getting after it, and he looked a whole lot better doing it. And then, I don't know why, but he regressed on week 1, which is unfortunate.
And even with that, I'm still glad we did not see the John Bostic show out there on Sunday. But in terms of Jamin Davis, I don't know, Tim. With each passing week, I don't know if he's gonna pan out here in DC. Like I know that's kind of like, oh, Nazi, whoa, you're taking, you might be exaggerating here, or this is not you and stuff. No, I've seen a couple plays over the last year and now some change, right? All right, Jamin Davis shows you that he's worthy of being that first round pick last year. But for the most part, it's a big bag of nothing. Like, I mean, if you even want to go to the PFF grade from Sunday, that was terrible for Jamin Davis. Like, and then you got your coach calling you. I know, I agree with you, Tim. I did go back.
I didn't see the PFF grade. If you don't know it off the top of your head, don't worry about it. But go on with Jack Del Rio. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I agree with you. I watched the entire, like, I think it wasn't that long. It was, less than 10 minutes, but press conference from Jack Del Rio, right? After hearing about him calling out Jamin Davis and stuff. And I definitely think it was more constructive than a lot of people out there, especially on Twitter, thought it was. But at the end of the day, I mean, he didn't play well. Like, we expect better from him. We've seen better in the preseason. This is not the type of play that we expect from Jamin Davis. Was sort of the sentiment that I was getting from it. But at the end of the day, man, he needs to play better. He needs to play better, or else his time in DC might be cut short.
Yeah, I do unfortunately think it has a lot to do with the defensive coordinator, though, because I feel like if you give that kind of an athlete to Steve Spagnuolo or Dan Quinn or some great D coordinators out here, they're going to make something of him, whether it be a first-round pick-worthy guy or not. That's up to a hypothetical we can never experience. But I just feel as though they would get better because Nick Bolton, a guy drafted last year as well for Kansas City, looked tremendous last night. Just absolutely awesome.
Tremendous last year, too.
Yeah, he looked solid for them last year as well. Absolutely. But just watching him again up close in person, live last night was awesome. And he's just stuffing dudes at the first down marker, causing a lot of third and shorts. And then they stepped up and stopped him on third and short. A lot to do with him. And it's like, man, we could have had that guy. I think he got drafted in the third. And, of course, we also could have Leo Chenal as well. Both of us wanted him from in that second round. But, yeah, it's going to be tough in the secondary. I know you wanted to bring up Cam Curl. Hopefully we can get him back for this game because Derek Forrest looked all right. I thought he looked pretty solid. Probably had the best day out of everybody in the secondary. I think he had the highest grade according to PFF or something like that. 90
safeties period. 91.1, I think.
Yeah, 91.1 out of all the state. Yeah, I mean, I thought he earned that. Obviously, he had the big hit that caused a fumble, a couple of pass deflections on a very athletic tight end. Of course, we know Evan Ingram can't catch, but Ingram is not a dude that can get open. He's a dude that can get open, I mean to say. And Derek Forrest was hanging with him and got a couple of pass deflections. So, hey, good for Defo. And if we can get him and Cameron Curl actually becoming a tandem back there, Bobby McCain was horrible again, at least in coverage. I don't know why you're as a deep safety biting on a double move, the Christian Kirk play. I mean, you're biting on a double move. What do you do? That's Kendall Fuller's job. You need to get your butt back there in case he goes for the fake corner post. And guess where Christian Kirk's catching it 60 yards downfield, right where Bobby McCain should be. So McCain is not it, at least at the deep safety position. Derek Forrest at least has the athleticism to be a deep safety. Does he have the instincts? That's left to be determined. And I did not like what I saw out of Cincinnati as far as watching his Cincinnati film. But if they can groom him into because he's a 4'3" athlete, 6 foot, 200 pounds or something like that, 205 pounds. So the guy is a tremendous athlete.
He has the size.
Yeah, size and speed. And it's just a matter of can he get the instincts down. And he had a great day. So hopefully him and Cam Curl could be a safety tandem we've always wanted.
Agreed big time. Shout out to Ninja, Noah, and ProTech in the chat. But a couple points here. Jamin Davis, 45.9 PFF grade from week 1. So
45.9?
45.9, yeah. So not great at all.
5 and 11, not very good.
yeah, not very good. But in terms of the safeties, thank you for bringing up the coverage abilities of Derek Forrest, because everybody's talking about that big hit that he had, and I believe it was just an incompletion, didn't count for a fumble, or it might have been a fumble. It went out of bounds, right? It went out of bounds.
Yeah, fumble that went out of bounds. I thought it should be an incompletion, but they said it stood, which I thought was weird in general. They should have had enough evidence to say one way or the other. Like, You could clearly see the ball. I thought it was moving the whole time, and it got poked out. It was a great play by Forrest anyway, but it was. I thought that was anyway. That's a side note. I thought it was weird by the refs.
No, agreed. And no, I was just gonna say with Derek Forrest, like, thank you for bringing up the coverage abilities because, bro, he made I don't know how many passes, but like, sure, it might not be a lot in terms of numbers wise, but like, he was just great in coverage. Like, I felt like there's one play at the end of the end zone that like he forced an incompletion on, and I don't know, he was just really great in coverage. Usually, when you see these hard hitting safeties, especially here in DC, they're great at like forcing, fumbles or great at tackling. Maybe not great at tackling, but great at forcing fumbles, but like not necessarily great on the back end in covering receivers, tight ends, so on and so forth. And Derek Forrest showed that he was that, at least in week 1. Yes, it was Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, they don't have the greatest of receiving cores or anything like that, but it's a great performance, in his first official start in his NFL career.
Yeah, I thought he looked really good. And it was against tight ends, which is what you expect. He's going to be going. He's a safety. He's not a corner going out there with receivers. But Evan Ingram, I said it earlier and I'll say it one more time, Evan Ingram is not a bad athlete. He was a first-round pick for a reason because he was a stretch tight end. He's supposed to be a Darren Waller type tight end, a receiving tight end who, unfortunately for him, he just couldn't catch. But Derek Forrest was hanging with a very athletic tight end. One of the most athletic tight ends he's going to face this year, probably. There's not much better athletes at the tight end spot.
Although he's going to face a pretty good one this upcoming week, right? With TJ Hawkinson. He's not as athletic, of course, but
yeah, they're completely different as far as the types of tight ends, but you're absolutely right. TJ is a very, very good tight end. Yes.
High-end first rounder.
Yep.
But, yeah, I mean, moving on from those things on the defense, we also, unfortunately, it's kind of crazy. I don't know if, Tim, you caught this, but in my in our short live stream after the game and stuff, I mentioned how my Sunday ticket was down for the first 25-30 minutes of the game on Sunday, and I was furious, right? I'm watching the first game of the season for our favorite football team and stuff, and I'm paying money for this and all that. But like the first play I saw, once it went back up and I actually could watch the game, the first thing I saw, what was the first thing I saw on the TV? It was
interceptions, I'm guessing.
No, not yet. Not yet. It was Fedarian Mathis down, riling in pain.
Yes.
And I was like, what happened? And then I heard he had a sack before that point, and he was actually pretty good. And
did he have a sack?
Yeah. That's what I heard. Am I wrong on that? That's all right. That's what I heard.
I'm not saying you made it up as far as what you heard, but I think you made that up, or whoever told you that made that up.
Okay.
I don't remember. The only sack I remember early was Jonathan Allen's sack. I could be wrong, but let me see. Hold on. I'm curious. Fedarian Mathis.
I don't see him on the stat sheet. So.
Apparently, he didn't even record a stat, which is not surprising for him. He was eating tons of. I'm not saying that doesn't mean he wasn't doing his job. He eats tons of double teams, and he gets in, and he allows the linebackers to get free. So I'm not saying that's a knock, but it looks like he did not record a sack. But yeah, I wouldn't say he was a complete no-show either. He's just not that guy. Yeah.
I just heard he was solid. Up until that point, even with the few reps that he had in his rookie season and all that. But like, it just sucks because I had high hopes for him. Like I'm not gonna lie, probably the worst pick in the draft, right? In terms of value and all that. But like in terms of my hopes for him as a guy from Alabama, Roll Tide, and as a guy who was a consistent force at Alabama last season, he had a lot of sacks and is known as a run stopping guy. Like I was high on him, right? And like it just sucks that we can't see him really for the rest of the season.
Yeah, he's already gone, and yet we're already missing our second and third round pick to start this year, and we're missing our fifth round pick that was getting all the noise. Hopefully we get him back with Cole Turner this game. It seems like
I think we will, right?
Yeah, he should be back. But yeah, so we're already missing 3 of our picks, and then of course one was a quarterback. He was never going to play. So, and then Chris Paul's never going to play. He plays O-line. So we were hoping to get some actual dudes that got quality minutes out of this draft, and a bunch of them are either hurt or stupid stuff happening, obviously with Brian Robinson, but Jahan Jahan looked great, so I'll take it. I don't know how much about Percy Butler. I know he didn't really flash. It was mostly Defoe that flashed.
And I don't think we're going to see any Percy Butler once Cam Curl comes back, too. I think it's just going to be Cam Curl, Bobby McCain, and Defoe pretty much back there. And, yeah, that's just what it's going to be. Abdullah in the chat, Wentz versus Goff. We'll get to the matchup, the Lions versus Commanders matchup very shortly. But the last question I want to ask you before then, you mentioned Brian Robinson. Took the practice field on Wednesday. It's apparently ramped things up out there on the practice field. He's not walking with a brace anymore. I think he has a small patch on his leg. Like, everything's looks good.
It's
yeah.
It's unbelievable. I saw the one where he was running the ladders, and it didn't look great. Let me put it this way: like, to me, it kind of looked like an older guy that comes back to the league, and he's like, oh, just doing them for fun. There was no explosion or anything like that, which is to expect. He's less than 3 weeks from getting shot. It's crazy that he's walking, let alone running ladders. So he's definitely got some a little ways to go. But week 5 is completely doable at this point. But I thought it was a good idea that we put him on IR because he would not be ready based on what I saw of him running around this week. But God bless him, man. Good. You got shot, and you're probably going to play in the NFL less than 2 months later. Lucky to be alive, lucky to walk, lucky to continue to move, and then you may actually be playing in the league and putting quality minutes for a team that could be winning a bunch of games. Knock on wood. And good for B-Rob, man. I know he was your favorite pick of the draft. Maybe behind Jahan, but I know that you loved yourself D-Rob.
At the beginning, he was my favorite pick. When I say beginning, I really mean like up until training camp, he was my favorite pick. And then I got to see Jahan Dotson put that work out there on the practice field and stuff. But no, bro, I'm so excited about Brian Robinson, bro. Like, I've been excited, and obviously the shooting, absolutely crazy situation, and just him being back this soon is absolutely crazy. But bro, I'm just so high on him and what he brings to the table for an offense and his rushing ability and everything. And bro, once he's in our offense, you got Brian Robinson toting the rock, right? Solid running back. You got Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel playing that Debo role, Cole Turner back healthy, Logan Thomas. Okay, Tim. Am I the only one surprised by how fast Logan Thomas recovered from his knee injury this offseason? Because I know for a good part of the offseason, I expected him to be out for at least a couple weeks at the start of the regular season. And not only did he start last week, he was pretty good. Like, maybe the stats might not show it, but he was a pretty good threat for Carson Wentz, right? Among the many threats that he had last week. Like, what are your thoughts on Logan Thomas? What he can do for us?
He was the one that needed to have like another surgery or something because it was more complicated than I know we had a couple of ACL tears. That's why I'm trying to remember.
Chase Young was also yeah.
But yeah, it is surprising to hear that it was a very complicated surgery. Apparently, he tore a lot more than just the ACL, if I remember correctly. And
he tore in December.
Was his in December
against the Raiders? Yeah. It was either.
November? I thought that was November. It doesn't matter. Maybe last week in November. I guess we're splitting hairs at this point. But yeah, so let's say it was December. December to September. That's 9 months.
December 5th. Yep.
December 5th. Okay, first week of December. So that would be 10 months. I mean, that seems about right for an ACL. I thought they say like 9 months to a year somewhere. I don't know. But it's
also a bigger guy. I don't know.
Yeah. For them to say, though, it was more complicated than normal and him be back before Chase, I thought that was interesting, that he's back before Chase, and I was definitely surprised there. So hopefully Chase can come back by week 5 as well. But yeah, good for Logan. And yeah, he didn't flash much this game. I know Carson had an overthrow on him one time. He ended up with 3 catches, 45 yards. I don't even remember the 27-yard pass now. I think that was the one over the middle.
Might have been.
Yeah, and then it was okay. I think that one got us into the red zone, which is nice. But yeah, he didn't have his normal red zone targets. I guess that's probably why you don't remember as much, because he was our biggest red zone threat before he went down. So
now we got Cole Turner too. alongside Logan Thomas. I mean, not a good blocker at all, but I mean, yeah.
Bring him in on third downs.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, against the Raiders, you can never forget the Yannick Ngakoue dirty play.
Yeah,
you terp. But okay, so we talked extensively already about week 1 matchup, us winning, some of the updates this week, injury-wise and everything. But let's talk about Commanders versus Lions. Give me 3 keys to victory for the Commanders in week 1.
All right, I wrote these down. I didn't know you were going to ask this, but I did this for skins of the game. So which ones do I want to say? I wrote down 5. Let's go with these 3. Number 1, do our best to contain Swift. Force it into Goff's hands, but
great minds think alike.
Need to, because he's the only guy that scares the ever-living crap. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like TJ, but Swift is the guy that is elite. Like, he's an elite talent at the running back spot, right? And so that's what we need to do. I think we need to run the ball more this game. Their front 7 is terrible, especially their linebackers are somehow worse than ours. They are horrible. Like, their best one is Rodriguez, their rookie, 5th-round pick that I thought he actually had a good relative athletic score, and I thought it could be an interesting late-round pick for us. I would have loved to get him in the 5th round, but he's their best linebacker right now, and he's a rookie. There's only so much as a 5th-round rookie that you really could bring to the table. But I think we need to run the ball more than we did against Jacksonville and then set up the over-the-top, because I think we could just absolutely destroy Okudah and I can never pronounce their other corner's name correctly.
Arunawari, something like that.
Yeah.
Amari Arunawari.
It's actually not hard to say if you say it correctly, but I'm drawing a blank. So that was 2, and then I want to see a keys to victory, at least 2 interceptions from Goff. Goff threw several balls that should have been picked off against the Eagles. If we get pressure, which we did get pressure around Trevor Lawrence, I think we should be able to get pressure, especially if 1 or 2 of their offensive linemen don't play. They have 4 question marks on their O-line if they're going to play this week. And there's going to be times where we get pressure to Goff. There's going to be times where he's going to throw it up for us for the taking. We need to capitalize on those turnovers. Until Derek Forrest's into the game interception, we have yet to get an interception all through preseason and all the way through that game until finally we got pressure enough where he just threw up a prayer and Defoe ran underneath it. So we need to come up with at least 2 picks off Jared Goff. There it is.
Yeah. Appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we got to limit DeAndre Swift. He's the engine that moves that Lions offense. And if we contain him, if we do, a good job there, then we have a good chance of winning this game, honestly. And something I was thinking about with DeAndre Swift, remember in 2020 when we were playing the Lions, Alex Smith was in that game. That was the game that Chase Young had that penalty that eventually caused us, that gave us a loss. But I remember that
was in that game.
Yeah. And I remember in that game, DeAndre Swift showed some good things. He showed some good things. And then I went back and looked at his stats. 16 carries for 81 yards on the ground, 5 catches for 68 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown through the air. He did some really good things against us, and that was his rookie season. And ever since that moment, I've been high on DeAndre Swift. He's had some injuries, right, that has kept him out games. But he had a great game in week 1 against the Eagles defense, which, I mean, say what you want, but it should be a pretty good defense this season. And he made them look like light work. So DeAndre Swift, we got to limit him. Second thing, we got to force pressure on Goff. He gets easily rattled. And I know the Lions offensive line sneakily has one of the best offensive lines in the league right now, sneakily. But we have to force some sort of pressure on him, because if he has a clean pocket, he could do some things, much like a Carson Wentz. If he has a clean pocket, he could do some things. But we got to force pressure on him, get him rattled. That's key number 2. Key number 3, the Eagles had 4 different runners. 4 different guys get rushing touchdowns last week against the Lions defense. You said it as one of your key. I'm going to say it here. Run the ball. We have to run Antonio Gibson. We can even run a Curtis Samuel occasionally or a J.D. McKissick. But we got to run the ball. We can take advantage of this Lions defense, especially the linebacker core that you mentioned earlier. And we got to pound the rock. I know we have some gadgets, some really nice, accessories with a Terry McLaurin, a Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson. And you know how I feel about Jahan Dotson. But at the end of the day, when it comes to matchups, right, this Lions rush defense is just that poor. And we got to take advantage. We got to take advantage to win this game.
Agreed. Well, what do you know? We didn't coordinate that at all. And pretty much it's the same three keys.
Exactly.
We're on to something. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to everybody in the chat. So Redskins Man 10, what's up? Appreciate you. Thank you for joining. Manny, long time no see, my guy. Appreciate you for coming into the chat.
So, you know what? Since we had the I'll give the other two keys to victory. But shout out Manny real quick. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Manny, great content creator. Go support Manny. Okay. Yes. The other ones I had were, I want more Terry involved. Okay, and we didn't throw a touchdown to him until the third quarter, and that was like the third target of the game, only the second catch. He only had 2 catches, I think, on the day, right?
Only 2 catches. Yep.
We need to find more ways to get Terry the football. In my opinion, like maybe he needs to run some of the Curtis route. I don't know. I don't care, but I love that we spread the ball around. I don't want like 15 targets to Terry. I'm not Jairus, right? We don't need to throw it to him every single play, but I think as far as we're spreading the football around, I think he should be the number one. Like if we throw it 20 times, 6 targets go to 5 to 6 targets go to him. So a quarter of the targets maybe should go to Terry because he's our number one receiver. We paid him $23.5 million for a reason. Get Terry the football. So that was one. And the other one is just no stupid penalties. And I thought we did a good job last week, but I feel like that's what's going to cost us the game, if anything, because I think we're better than the Lions. Don't beat ourselves with stupid penalties in this game. So that's what I had. But anyway, go ahead.
Agree. No, shout out to Anthony Johnson in the chat. I mean, this is a good point. Frank Ragnow, I believe, is their starting center. Really good center. According to Anthony, it's already ruled out for this weekend. They still have Penei Sewell on the right side. They still have Taylor Decker, right? They still have Jonah Jackson, I think is his name. Jonah Williams. It might be Jonah Williams.
It could be.
Yeah. But I mean, they still have some good players on their offensive line. But yeah, Jonah Jackson. So should be interesting though. Should be interesting. We could take advantage of Ragnow being out.
Yeah, and also Vitae, the big V, also is on IR. So they're gonna have Logan Stenbergen. So yeah, our defensive line. Hopefully, Jonathan Allen plays. It seems like everything says that Jonathan Allen should be healthy enough.
A number one guy.
Yeah. Yes. Me and you both love some Jonathan Allen. But yes, there's some question marks there. But yeah, I see now. Yeah, the Frank Ragnow is out according to this. Decker does not have a question mark anymore, and Jonah Jackson does not have a question mark anymore. Or no, he does have a question mark. So Jonah Jackson still has question mark. We'll see.
All right, but Dula asked about this or mentioned this earlier in the chat. Wentz versus Goff. Let's get into the quarterback battle very quickly. So this is going to be the number 1 overall pick in 2016 draft, Jared Goff, versus the number 2 overall pick in 2016 draft, Carson Wentz. Who would have thought their careers would pan out this way? With Carson Wentz on his 3rd team in 3 years and Goff on a 2nd. But I mean, we saw how things panned out towards the end of his Rams tenure. So what are your thoughts on this matchup and the quarterbacks overall?
To me, Goff is the worst quarterback. All right, Wentz is a better quarterback than Jared Goff, in my opinion. I just think that Wentz can do more. He has more mobility. He's got a stronger arm. Of course, and then both of them can get rattled in moments, but
that's a fact.
Wentz, to me, is just the more up, like the higher ceiling quarterback in this duo, and I feel like Wentz should win this battle by a country mile, especially considering the weapons he has at his disposal. As I said, I do like Amon St. Brown. DJ Chark is a question mark. We'll see if he can continue to grow. The rest of the receivers I don't think is very good at all. And then they have TJ Hawkinson, but I think that pales in comparison to what Wentz has. And I see Wentz winning this matchup big time because the defense absolutely is horrible. Our defense is not very good, but I think the Lions' defense is objectively worse than ours.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I would give Wentz the edge here. I think what separates them is Wentz's arm strength. I think he can throw it down the field further than Jared Goff, and that will definitely benefit us when you have a Curtis Samuel who can stretch the field. You have a Terry McLaurin who can stretch the field, and a Jahan Dotson who, despite his 4.4 speed, can stretch the field as well. So, I mean, it should work out there. But in terms of, I'm going to be honest. Maybe you disagree to, maybe people in the chat disagree. They're very similar quarterbacks. Like, in terms of, like, ranking-wise, like, I would say, again, Carson Wentz is better, but, like, not that much better to the point where it's an automatic dub for us in terms of the quarterback department. Like, I could see Goff doing some good things against this defense. You mentioned us not being really good. Our secondary still has to prove that they can, put out a good, consistent, all-around performance against an opposing offense, right? We haven't seen that in a bit. But, yeah, I could see both quarterbacks doing well. I could see both quarterbacks not doing well. But I do think that Carson Wentz has the edge here, and we will see it on Sunday. Shout out to Redskins Man 10. Again, I'm hyped. I finally finished my customized Redskins jersey, so that means we're about to beat the Lions. Hopefully, bro. Hopefully. We're at the district in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Another great set of content creators in our community. Two of our faves, Nazi and Tim.
Trev.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys for sure. And I'm looking forward to. I think they are about to release the video with Charles Leno's wife, I believe.
It's released.
Like
it is released.
Oh, it's already okay. I saw like a clip. Yeah.
Yes.
On Twitter, but
yeah, they did release because they shared it on the community tab and then they actually did the video. I haven't watched it yet, but
yeah,
yes, that's out. They're outside the line, or it's not outside the lines, but it's kind of that sentiment, right? What do they call that?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But either way, great content creators. Go check them out for sure. Abdullah brought up absolutely great point. I remember hearing about this in both Ed Oliver's video and also Louis Teague, like, keeps pounding this point across to a lot of people. But 2-0. This would be the first time. If we win on Sunday, the first time we'll be 2-0 since 2011. First off, that's pathetic. That just shows you how terrible of an organization this has been over the last decade plus. Second off, we got to win on Sunday. We got to win on Sunday. We got to exercise our demons a little bit and start off 2-0.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I remember we beat the Rams in week 2. We didn't win that first week. When Sean McVay's first, I guess. I'm just thinking. I didn't realize that it was since 2011. I mean, it doesn't shock me, but anyway, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Good old Washington. Good old Washington. I mean, if you can't go 2-0 with the Jags and Lions on your schedule, when are you ever going to go 2-0? Am I right?
It's true.
Also, I want to see Carson Wentz with Sean McVay's offense that Jared Goff had. And I'm curious how that and what Kirk had. Yeah, I'd be curious on, would this conversation be anywhere near close if Jared Goff had the Colts offense and the Carson Wentz had the Rams offense?
Well, you also got to remember Carson Wentz now is different than Carson Wentz from maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, right? Like, in terms of like, the type of, like, he's still Carson Wentz, but like in terms of, now I feel like he's been more reckless, or he's been more reckless over the last couple of years compared to the 2017 MVP season and stuff. So I feel like you gotta talk about a specific like season of Carson. Like, we're talking about like 2021 Carson Wentz or 2020 Carson Wentz, right? Two different stories. Like,
give me any Carson Wentz. Put him with Sean McVay in that offense. Whatever year Carson Wentz, he's only 29. It's not like he's 37-year-old Carson Wentz. Like, yes, he's not 23-year-old Carson Wentz anymore, but he's still a great athlete and tremendous arm. If anything, he has more experience now. I would love to. Anyway, that was just more of a knock on Jared Goff than Carson Wentz. I mean, if Jared Goff is getting traded away when you have Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and Sean McVay and Andrew Whitworth, like, and you aren't good enough there, and you need to be traded away for Matt Stafford, who ends up immediately after you're gone, he goes ahead and wins.
Matt Stafford's that guy too.
Yeah.
You can say it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid like our boy Corey. Don't be afraid. Matt
He doesn't
Stafford
like
is
Matt
that
Stafford?
Guy. Oh, please! I think this is sarcastic, right?
I didn't realize that he was like a big
bro,
Matt
he
Stafford
is
hater.
After
the
he had to apologize for it last season, my guy. He had to actually apologize.
Oh, dude, I did not feel that. I remember a game against the Giants. It was probably like, it was a long time, maybe 2015 or something. And if you look at the stat line of Matt Stafford, you would have thought, oh, he was pathetic. It was one of the most beautiful, just orchestrating game management of a game that you could ever see. And it was such high IQ quarterback play, only doing what he needed to move the ball downfield. I think he also like forced some PIs seeing the back of people's jerseys, just throwing it that way. Like, it was so high IQ, and I had him as my fantasy quarterback that year, and I was so mad because it was such a beautiful game, yet he did nothing on a fantasy department. But anyway, I've always liked Matt Stafford. I thought he's a really solid quarterback and a little bit underrated in most people's things. So, but anyway, that's how I feel. But now it's easy to say that when he just won the Super Bowl. But that's how I always felt.
Yep, same. That's not Corey, though. Anthony Johnson, Sean took off to the Super Bowl, so I would take Wentz with Sean, then golf with the Colts. Speaking of the Rams,
yes,
did not do well the first week of the season.
Their O-line was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, but are we talking about something that's gonna, be a constant issue throughout the season? Like,
it's hard to say because it's Buffalo's defense, and their defense Von Miller was just destroying Notre Dame. And then they also have Gregory Rousseau, and then they also have, what's his name? Jordan Phillips was wrecking the center of their O-line. But, I mean, there was plays where three guys were hitting Stafford before he could blink. It was a pathetic performance from that O-line. And it's hard to say, will that be a constant theme throughout the year, or is that because they're going against probably the best defense in the league in Buffalo? Yet to be determined.
Yeah, and I keep saying this, Tim. Like, I really want people to keep this in mind. Buffalo Bills, their defense over the last, really since Thanksgiving, has been a consistent force, has been one of the best in the league without their best defensive player, Tre'Davious White.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very much scary hours for Buffalo. But, okay, so we talked about the quarterbacks. We talked about 3 keys to victory. You think the trio of Terry, Curtis, and Jahan will make light work out of Tracy Walker, Jeff Okudah, and Amani OROY?
If they can't, then they're not who they thought we were, or they weren't, or who we thought they were. Yeah. They should win this matchup with ease. Really easily, especially if we get any semblance of run game going, which I think we should. I mean, our run game wasn't bad last week, so I think it should even be better this week because we're going against a worse front seven, and then allowing us to get over the top with these guys. I think it's going to be massive, and I'm predicting. I guess if it spoil this, I'm sure you're going to ask of it. I'm predicting 31-17. I think we're dropping 30 on this Lions team. And this is the first time I'm predicting a Washington double-digit win. And I don't know the last time I predicted a double-digit win. I just don't like the Lions right now. And I also have another hot take about the Lions.
Okay. Good share.
Aiden Hutchinson was pathetic. Pathetic. He looked like a boy out there. Compared to Trayvon Walker, it's not even a competition. And people are like, oh, because the Eagles had a great offensive line, blah, blah, blah. They moved him all along that line, and he was getting punked throughout the entire time. He is not... I did not like at all what I saw of Aiden Hutchinson. It got to the point where I just started focusing on him, and it was every play. It was pathetic. And I think that he is not going to live up to that second round. This is early, but he has to change a lot from that first performance. And I thought he was absolutely pathetic the first game, and I am not high on Aiden Hutchinson at this point.
I'm not even gonna lie. I like to keep it honest on this channel. I was one of those people. Yes, I was one of those people who thought, why did the Jaguars draft Trayvon Walker at number 1 and not draft this more of the sure thing in Aiden Hutchinson? So hearing you say that, man, yeah, I don't know. I mean, even like, okay, let's talk about Trayvon Walker. Let's be honest with ourselves. Trayvon Walker as a number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft, given the season that he had last year, he had like 6 sacks as a edge rusher for Georgia. I know Georgia had a stacked defense, but like I already thought like going in, like whoever was going number 1, whether it be Aiden or Trayvon, like that's not like compared to previous drafts and stuff, that's not an exceptional first number 1 overall pick. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, like usually there's 1 or 2 of those guys like in a draft, but I don't know. Apparently this year there wasn't, but that's besides the point. I always thought Aiden Hutchinson should have gone number 1. He didn't. But hearing you say this, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I was not impressed at all. I mean, on goal line, he got punked each time. It was 1-on-1 as well. The left tackle just took him for a ride. It was not even close. He is not like a TJ Watt. He is not a Nick Bosa or a Joey Bosa. He is not that guy.
So are you saying, so first off, Anthony Johnson here, the Asante Samuel point. Yeah, I think he dropped one yesterday too, right? Asante Samuel Jr.?
Two. Yeah. He dropped 2 easy ones. Easy ones. Not good. But anyway.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, again, just the perfect segues are just coming in full force here. But I was going to ask you about Aiden Hutchinson, whether we'll be able to contain the 2nd overall pick in the 2022 NFL draft. But it seems like from your thoughts, we'll absolutely be able to.
I think so. And I guess, it's too early, of course. 1 game, he can expand his game and all that stuff. Or maybe it was just he was going against one of the best offensive lines that he could possibly have gone up against in his first game ever. And now against Leno and Sam Cosmi, he's going to make them look silly and look like Trayvon Walker did it against us. I don't know, man. I am not high on Aiden Hutchinson at all. Not at all.
Okay. All right. I mean, he's from Michigan. Maybe he can get it together quickly. I don't know. It is at Detroit. Oh, speaking about at Detroit, didn't mention this earlier. Didn't ask about this, but another 73-degree Carson Wentz. I don't know if you saw that tweet on the timeline. I think it was early
yards or something like that.
73-degree.
73-degree.
I mean, we're playing in a dome, right, in Detroit, so.
What if the Lions make it 72? Right?
Oh, then that's a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker, Tim. That's not gonna work out. We're about to get
They're gonna look at the stats as well and say, "Hey, crank that up 1 degree. 74 here. 74 in here, please."
But I think the overall point, like the general point of him playing much better when like in room temperature weather, like temperature that is around 70, 73 and stuff. Like, I think the general point is he plays much better in that type of weather. And he's about to play another game in that type of weather, right? With the dome in Detroit. So you think we can get another Carson Wentz potentially 3-4 touchdown game?
The only way he doesn't get that game is if we move the ball down the field and we end up scoring rushing touchdowns instead. We should score.
I mean, you said, yeah, that's right. You did say we're going to score 31.
Yeah, and will that end up being 4 Carson Wentz touchdowns again? Probably not. I think we should be getting 1 rushing touchdown at the very least. But a 3 touchdown day from Carson Wentz, I think is extremely doable against this Lions defense. Extreme. And I think it's hilarious that this Lions team is like the most confident team I've ever seen in my entire I had
first time in 24 games.
Yeah, I'm listening to these people and you're like, are these the 2007 Patriots that we're going up against? I mean,
they are much
we have no chance.
They are much improved. Like I was even talking about in the offseason, like before even our regular season started, I was like, okay, the Lions in week 2, that's not going to be as easy of a test as maybe some Commanders fans think that is going to be. And I mean, I still kind of believe that. I still think the Lions have some players. You mentioned Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm high on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Ever since last season, the second half of last season, where he had one of the best stretches out of any receiver in the entire NFL. I don't know if it was second half. Might have been just 4 or 5 games. But he was absolutely going off.
He was a league winner in fantasy. Yeah.
Exactly. And like ever since then, I've been pretty high on him. And he did pretty well last game and stuff. And we definitely have to contain him. Kendall Fuller, William Jackson.
So when you say you're high on Amon-Ra St. Brown, what does that mean? Where do you rank him amongst the receivers?
Well, I don't know in terms of ranking wise, but I know he's going to go over 1,000 yards this year. Like that's my belief. He had 900 yards last season.
Okay. Did he? I don't remember. Yards? Did he get hurt or something? Is that why he didn't? Okay.
He started off slow.
Oh, okay.
He started off really slow, and then he just turned things off second half of last season. But Jared Goff, that's one of his favorite weapons, if not his absolute favorite weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has all the tools. Good route runner, good size. I mean, Pedro here is saying low tier 1, high tier 2. I mean, maybe he does remind me a lot. This might be a stretch. He reminds me a lot of a, maybe not in terms of like the way they play, but in terms of caliber of player, a lot of Detroit Lions Kenny Golladay. Like I can see a lot of like him and Amon-Ra St. Brown in terms of like where he might end up at his absolute ceiling in Detroit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I do. I just don't know if he's necessarily like. Yeah,
I think he's going to do some good things against us, Tim. I think he's going to do some.
Our secondary is trash, so I'm sure he'll catch some pass. I mean, Kendall Fuller can't cover a soul. He is just pathetic in a lot of ways. And then William Jackson's not great on his own right, and Benjamin St-Juste did not have a great game last week either. So yeah, the coverage on our team is a problem. So Amon could end up with another 7, 8, 9, 10 catch game with 80 to 100 yards. Sure. But I think that could happen and we still win this game.
I think, bro, I still think, I know the end of the game, maybe the Eagles were putting their foot off the gas a little bit, but I mean, 8 catches, 64 yards, touchdown. This is from, this is against the Eagles defense that isn't no slouch, right? Like I still think they can be one of the best defenses of the league this season if they get things right and don't give up 35 points to the Detroit Lions. But I don't know, man. I guess maybe I'm the only one on our fan base that's high on Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I think he has a lot of potential for sure. Jahan should have had 120 plus yards. I did see one play where he was wide open. I mean,
it was way too late.
Like a long touchdown. Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know if it would have been a touchdown, but it should have been a big. Wait, which one are you thinking of?
On the sidelines?
Yeah, where he like jumped up for it, but then it was thrown out of bounds and he couldn't keep his feet in.
I think there was another play where on that play that you're mentioning, Carson Wentz still targeted him. Is that what you're saying? Or yeah, so there was another play where Carson Wentz didn't target him, and it looked like Jahan Dotson was running like free, like along the sidelines. I don't know if
I don't know this play.
Yeah, but it was like something like from the film breakdown I saw. I don't know, but like he had his chances. Regardless, he had his chances, and Carson couldn't necessarily find him. It is week 1, first game of Jahan Dotson's rookie season. I definitely think he can turn things on for week 2. But
I do like Jahan.
Yeah,
I never really disliked him other than pick 16 was my main thing. I didn't like pick 16, but Jahan can be a fine receiver in this league. Can be a fine receiver.
Can be. He is. He already is. He's a pretty good receiver.
He had a great game 1, no doubt. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. A great game 1.
Tim, I see you try to be slick. He is a pretty good receiver. Not only did he have a great week 1, he is a pretty good receiver already. Like in my opinion, he's a fine receiver right now.
Sure.
Okay. All right. I sense the hesitation. Anthony Johnson. So when Crow comes back, you keep Bobby. That's a good question. That was something that I think was asked on Twitter. Forgot by who. But so when Crow comes back, do you think, is Bobby still going to be the free safety, the starting free safety? Crow as strong is. My mentality is you can't get rid of Derek Forrest from this lineup with the way he played week 1. I don't know if you have a different take. I'm not necessarily saying he has to play one of the safety spots.
Of course they're going to play Bobby McCain continuously because our coaching staff waits until about 6 weeks after they should have realized a change needs to be made to actually make the change. So, of course, I mean, Cameron Curl was obviously better than any safety we had last season. And when Landon Collins came back, Landon Collins and Bobby McCain were the starters, and Cameron Curl was seeing the field a whole lot less. And we're like, what are we looking at? Landon can't cover a soul. Bobby is just good for coming up and making tackles. Cameron Curl is our best safety. Why is he not on the field? And I think we're going to see the same thing with Derek Forrest now of, oh, yeah, he had a good game, but he's now going to go to the bench because we got our guy back, and Bobby McCain because we paid him $5 million a year. They're our starters. And Derek Forrest will play plenty because we're going to have some 3 safety looks. But, and you know, like the 2 linebacker look where we bring in the Buffalo nickel or whatever. But, yeah, Bobby McCain's going to continue to play until about week 7. And if Defoe by then can finally show or it can continue on this, and then by then they may finally notice, oh, wait, we need to play Derek Forrest. Because that's what Jack Del Rio and this defensive staff does.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You got to play all 3 some way, somehow. I'm sorry. With the way Derek Forrest was playing last week, man, that was like that was some great safety play that you just can't, like, you know, take off the field. Bobby, especially with the way Bobby McCain played last week, he wasn't that great. You mentioned that earlier in the stream. But another thing, so we have a couple more points I want to get to, but Pedro brought up a great point here. I was literally thinking about this, Pedro, on Wednesday, just out of the blue. I was thinking, oh, everybody's talking about Jahan Dotson not being great value at pick 16, but this trade might be one for the ages. The Jahan Dotson, like trading back to 16, right? Allowing the Saints to get Chris Olave at 11. But we got Jahan Dotson, Brian Robinson, who, you know, I literally talked about it early part of the stream. I'm super high on. And Sam Howell, we'll see. Maybe could have a bright future here in DC. We'll see. And then Cole Turner, who, I mean, I don't even think I'm as high on him as like a lot of other people in fan base, like you, or especially Louis T as well. Like that could be a great.
Oh, I'm not necessarily super high. I'm not super like no. I'm not.
Cole Turner?
I did not like the Cole. I didn't like Cole Turner at Nevada when I watched film on.
How about now?
Carson Strong. I mean, I've loved what I've heard out of camp, but I haven't seen him play. I haven't been to camp, and he didn't play at the FedEx Field practice. He hasn't played at all in the preseason. He hasn't played it and didn't play in game 1. So I have seen 0 with my own eyes as far as what he's done in the league so far. So maybe he's a question mark. But I did not like Cole Turner coming out of college. And because I saw drop passes. I saw a guy that's more of a zone beater than a tremendous athlete that can get open on his own. That's what I saw out of Cole Turner at Nevada myself. But I've loved what I've heard about him as far as in training camp. And he does have a great highlight tape as far as the incredible catches that he can make going over because he's got a great frame. But I never hated the trade. I loved the trade. The trade was incredible. I did not want.
So it was just Jahan Dotson at 16. That was like the issue. Okay.
And I did not like the Fedarian Mathis. I did not like the B-Rob. I did not like. I was meh on the Percy Butler as far as like. At least we drafted a position of need, but he was from a super small school. But go ahead.
I think no. I think that's like the question though, or like the point that I'm trying to say. Like, yeah. I'm considering the guys that we actually took, right? Jahan Dotson, Brian Robinson, Sam Howell, Cole Turner. I think this trade might be one
way better than Chris Olave. Way better than Chris Olave. I said that from day. I didn't want Chris Olave. I never wanted him. I did not want Chris Olave at pick 11. For the same reason I didn't want Jahan at 16. I don't want a 5'10", 180-pound wide receiver. I don't want that, okay? Like, it's not what I want out of my, or I guess he's more like 5'11", Chris Olave. But out of my first-round pick, I didn't want that. So, but anyway, as far as the trade is concerned, and if it hits, awesome. And I love the trade. I love moving back. I wanted to add picks. I did not feel the need to have to go after somebody at pick 11 there. And I thought there was plenty of good players at 11 that I wanted, but we didn't go for him. And Jahan, I hope he proves me wrong every time he comes onto the field and just destroys the defense and makes me look stupider every day. Nothing would make me happier.
That's how I feel about Carson Wentz. So it's okay. But Yeah, so you already mentioned your prediction, 31-17. My prediction is 30-27. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game as well, but I think the Commanders will just eke out the W, although I could see us crushing the Lions. We'll see. But my question here, very short question. So why the 2-touchdown margin for the Commanders?
Because I think we're going to get turnovers against Jared Goff. I do like they may get some yards, but I think we're going to find a way to get the ball in our defensive hands. We can control the line of scrimmage. We're going to slow this game down, and they're not going to have a ton of opportunities because we're going to run the football. And Scott Turner has shown the capability in the past to the 4-game win streak we had last year, right? Where we slowed the game down, controlled the line of scrimmage, controlled the time of possession, and we ended up beating 4 decent teams. Tampa Bay was actually obviously really good. Raiders were good. And then you had the Seahawks with Russell Wilson back, and you beat the Panthers, that was probably the worst team of the bunch. I think that we're going to see more of that. So it's not going to be a game where each team has 13, 14, 15 possessions. I think it'll be more limited to 10, like 9 to 10 possessions each, because we're going to have 6, 7, 8-minute drives, and we're going to end them with points. And I think we're going to get at least 2 turnovers against Mr. Jared Goff. And I think it's going to be a 31-17 game.
Okay. I will say, I mean, Eagles I'll keep saying it, they're a good team. And, I mean, they still only found a way to win by 3 against the Detroit Lions. So, I don't know. I just feel like, while, yes, we're the better team, I just feel like maybe we might not play that way for the course of like the entire game on Sunday. And that's probably why I'm coming to you with as close of a score that I am, 30-27, and even Pedro 27-23. Anthony Johnson thinks it's going to be 35-24, which would be nice as well. That's what, 5 touchdowns. That'll be great. But yeah, I mean that's my prediction. We heard yours.
It's much more reasonable for a Washington fan to predict a 3-point win. We don't blow a lot of people out, so it's much more reasonable. But
I like that you're going out there and exactly. That's fair. That's dope. Last question I wanted to ask you though. Mm-hmm. I think this is might be the most fun question. I don't know, but the Commanders, thoughts on the NFC East and their standing in the NFC East. Dak went down with an injury. Reportedly, I mean, the reports have been everywhere in terms of the timeline. I mean, first they were like 4 games that I heard, and then 8 games, and now 6 games, I think is what it's going to be and stuff. So he's going to be out for a while. No, I heard it go back to 4. So he's still going to be out for our first matchup. But, I mean, thoughts on the Cowboys, Eagles, barely got the W last week. And then obviously the Giants, who surprised W against the Titans, and Saquon looks to be back.
Yeah, so going around the NFC East, I'll start with the Giants. They're going to go as far as Saquon takes them. He's an absolute stud. He had 164 yards on the ground with a touchdown, and he got the 2-point conversion. So as long as that guy is moving, they're basically the Titans, right? They go as far as Derrick Henry takes them. If Saquon Barkley has an off game, that means the Giants are going to lose. But if he can continue to put up 150-plus yards a game, sure, because Daniel Jones ain't it, and they're deep. But I do like their coaching situation a whole lot more than Joe Judge. Judge was a joke, but Dable is not a joke, and Joe Schoen, or however you say his last name, the GM, they're not a joke either. So I like what the Giants are doing, and I think their future's interesting. They just got to get a quarterback because Daniel Jones is clearly not it. And then once they also get Kayvon Thibodeau back, and I think they also lost another. Didn't they lose their? Did they have Ojulari? Is that who they got last year as an edge? Did I make that up? I thought they got edge rusher last year as well.
I think it might have been.
Hurt.
Yep.
I think he was hurt as well. So, yeah, I think the Giants have an interesting future with more competent people leading there. But this year, I think they're going to be only as far as Saquon takes them. Then moving on, we'll go to the Eagles. We'll save the funniest for last. The Eagles, I predicted them to win this division, and I don't think that much changed there. I think they took their foot off the gas at the end of the game and allowed the Lions to make it a much closer game than it should have been, but they just ran it down the throats and absolutely destroyed the Lions for the most part. And that defense, if they can start meshing more, Jordan Davis, I don't think he played a whole lot, actually. in the game. I have to look at the snap counts, but I feel like listening to somebody talk about Jordan Davis, that Davis was definitely not used a whole heck of a lot for whatever reason that may be. Probably because they have a good defensive line, so he can only really rotate. They have Cox and they have another guy on the inside, right? So there's only, I guess, so many reps to go around in the inside of that defense. So, but we'll see Nakobe Dean grow. They have obviously a great corner duo with Bradbury and Slay. So really, their defense should improve, and we'll go from there. The Cowboys suck. The Cowboys suck.
I remember like literally a week ago. Oh my gosh, the Cowboys are gonna go far this season. Like, bro, I've always thought the Eagles are clear-cut number one in this division, and then the battle is at number 2 between us and the Cowboys. And I thought we would beat out the Cowboys and we would make the playoffs over them. That was literally my thought even before.
I had Eagles, us, Cowboys, Giants. That was my 4, and now it's probably going to be Cowboys at the bottom because we all know Cooper Rush absolutely sucks. But you know what? I may take that back. Cooper Rush may make them do one thing that I think would help improve them a lot, and that is going to start handing the ball off to Zeke Elliott again. I know everybody loves to talk about how washed Zeke Elliott is. Zeke Elliott is a nice running back. He may not be the top 5 running back anymore, but if you give that guy and have him pound the rock, and then you have Tony Pollard in to spell him in a much different way, and he's a great running back as well. If they stop trying to act like Dak Prescott is Pat Mahomes, or Dak Prescott is Josh Allen, and now they try to run the ball, control the line of scrimmage again, and do what Dallas does. The one problem they have, though, is I think like a lot of their offensive line is hurt. So that actually may change. But Mike McCarthy's a dunce. So Dallas are not going to go anywhere because their coach sucks and their quarterback sucks, and they traded away their number 1 weapon in Amari Cooper. But if they start relying on Zeke, then have the play action with CD over the top, and then Dalton Schultz be the safety blanket, they can actually be a decent team. But Dak Prescott, you put him back there as if he is somebody. Watch the right column is going to start to grow, that loss column, because he couldn't throw against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's secondary is not good at all. And he was throwing picks, and he couldn't find open receiver. He was like, they have a good run defense, but their pass defense is not something that is just, shut down. Oh, that makes sense that Dak stunk against Tampa. No, that makes no sense. Their secondary is bad. And I think this is now going to be a unfortunate, funny excuse for the Cowboys now. Because they're, we only lost because we lost our quarterback. Nah. You weren't good ahead of time. But you know who is good? Micah frickin' Parsons, dude. He is a monster. Did you watch the Tampa game Sunday night?
A little bit. I saw one impact play by Parsons, but I heard he's really good.
He's so good. He is. I know he's a Cowboy, and I'm not supposed to say things like this, but he's one of my favorite players, dude. He is one of my favorite players.
I can't. If I see a star on your helmet, you can never, ever be a... Bro, I don't even draft... I've never, in my 8 years of playing fantasy, have never drafted a Cowboy. I'll draft an Eagle. I'll draft a Giant. I can't draft a Cowboy. Last year, I had the opportunity. 5th overall pick. You know who I went with? I mean, it worked out well for me, but it was really risky. I'm not going to lie. I went with Jonathan Taylor over Ezekiel Elliott, who was projected to go to 5, just because he was a Cowboy.
Well, yeah, that worked out really well for you. Well done.
I was lucky, though.
I know a lot of people are Cowboys haters, and it's understandable. I don't like the Cowboys. I definitely dislike the Cowboys. But I'm a Washington fan more than I am a Cowboy hater, so I can respect their players, and I respect the heck out of Micah Parsons. I just do.
Whoa. Tim. There's a difference between respecting players and saying
I love them.
That one of your Cowboys players
it's more than respect. Fine, if you don't like
That's
the word
different.
respect, I love Micah Parsons.
Them. I can respect Dak. I can say Dak is better than Kirk. I don't know. Somebody was like, Dak is the black Kirk. No, Dak has way more regular season wins than Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is a 50-50 like regular season quarterback, right? Everybody brings up, playoff stats are the same. Okay, but what about the regular season? Dak is a better quarterback than Kirk in the regular season.
Well, is it only in wins? Because statistically, they're probably similar. When they have weapons around
Kirk, somebody mentioned earlier in the live stream, what we saw last week with Jared Goff, he was just throwing a bunch of touchdowns and throwing for a lot of yards at the end of the game in garbage time. Didn't matter. Okay, Kirk Cousins has literally made a name and made a bunch of money off of doing the exact same thing, which inflates his stats. I'm going with Dak over Kirk. I'm sorry. I see that's the thing. Like, I can respect these guys, but I'm never gonna say Dak, you know, one of my favorite players or Michael. I think that's what I was trying to say.
Dude, I love Micah. I respect the heck out of him. I love Micah so much. I love how he plays. I hate that he's a Cowboy. I wish he was not a Cowboy. Like, gosh, the Cowboys are so lucky. How do you trade back and get a guy like that? How are you able to trade backwards in the draft and still get Micah?
Patrick Surtain was their guy, and they traded back and got Parsons. Yeah.
He's so good. He's so good. Surtain's pretty good too, but Micah is a monster. Anyway, all right, I'm done drooling.
Yeah, hopefully he's up for a contract, you know, after his rookie contract is over with, and it's so much money, Cowboys can't pay it, and he goes to a different team that's not in our division. If it's not us, then it's not in our division. So hopefully that's how things pan out, right? Hopefully, maybe.
I would send everything for him to be my linebacker. Just I would $70 million a year, and you know I don't like to pay people that much, but it's Mahomes and then Parsons. I think I love
Tim, you did this to yourself. That's a good point. Oh, what about? Didn't you make a point about you know, once these guys like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes get paid and stuff, then there's teams they won't ever reach the heights that they got to before they got paid, like the Super Bowl or deep playoff runs. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case.
Hold on.
Shout out to
Josh Allen, right?
Yep. Remember, they're the Super Bowl favorites this year. So I know we're projecting here, but yeah.
That's fine. I'll project it too. He's great. Do you know what the cap number is for Josh Allen?
Has his extension actually kicked in yet?
I guess
I know Mahomes has.
Only $16.3 million. Yes, you can win a Super Bowl when your cap hit is $16.3 million.
That's going to change, though. So
we'll see what happens afterwards, if they can start maintaining this absolutely stacked roster they have, because obviously it's unbelievable what Buffalo has on defense and offense, for that matter. But if they can start and keep maintaining it, but next year Josh Allen becomes a $39.7 million cap hit.
And they'll still be a contender.
I bet they won't win the Super Bowl. I'll put money on that.
Didn't Matt Stafford win the Super Bowl making $35+ million a year?
I thought he was only making like 20.
Last year? That's a bargain if that's the case.
I thought with the trade he only got like a $20 million cap hit.
Did the Lions pay any part of it? In his contract?
Yeah. Let me see if I can see what his cap hit was based on this. What was his cap hit 2021? Because this now shows only a $13.5 million cap hit for him this year.
For this, wow.
Let me see. Cap hit 2021. Cap hit 2021.
I feel like we got to talk more about how that's a bargain.
He's set to earn 22. This was March 19th, 2020. I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, I hate that, like, once the year is gone, it's like impossible to find.
Yeah.
These, like, what were they cap hit numbers? He is set to earn $12.5 million base salary, $22 million cap hit this year, bringing a total range of $183 million. I think that's this year, the 2022 season, not 2021. I thought he was in the $20 million range, maybe 23.
Okay.
If I find it here, but go ahead.
So this year, okay. But either way, I still think these quarterbacks are getting paid a bunch of money, whether it be a Patrick Mahomes, unless he's a Kyler Murray, because I've never been high on Kyler Murray. But a Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen, Matt Stafford, maybe Lamar Jackson. Like I still think even with these guys getting paid, they're gonna be in contention for a while.
Yeah, his cap hits are $20 million in 2021. Matt Stafford, and then $23 million in 2022. Yeah, you have to have your quarterback under 13.5% of your salary cap hit. You have to. Nobody's ever done it before with higher than 13.5. When you paid Peyton Manning a ton of money, you didn't go. When you paid, I don't know, list quarterback, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, I said him already, sorry. But Tom Brady won a bunch of Super Bowls because he kept that cap hit low. And he ended up making probably more money over the length of his career than any of those other quarterbacks, like over $300 million. Obviously not the newer quarterbacks. They'll end up making more. But I bet he made more than his contemporaries over the course of his career.
That's fair. I just think, I don't know, these quarterbacks, they're super young. Even if they're getting paid a lot of money, one of them is eventually going to find their way in the Super Bowl.
You would have said the same thing about Aaron Rodgers after the Super Bowl in 2010. In 2010, there was
no, but the difference is all the great quarterbacks right now, outside of Aaron Rodgers and Brady, are like young. Like, I mean, Matt Stafford, I guess.
I'm saying if you go back to 2010, you would have said Aaron Rodgers would have had 2, 3, 4 Super Bowls at this point. That's what everybody would have said. I mean, he was the best quarterback to ever play in 2010, right? The athleticism, the arm strength, the crazy throws. I mean, he was Pat Mahomes before Pat Mahomes. Right?
I still think he's better than Pat Mahomes. But...
Well, that's a hot take for sure, because I love Pat Mahomes. But... And I love Pat Mahomes. And actually, it's going to be interesting how this contract works in Kansas City, because it's so long.
Yeah.
It may end up working out in a team-friendly deal, because if he were to like play the market like normal, like the 3-year deals, the 4-year deals, he probably could have made more like $700 to $800 million over the course of that 12-year contract. But now he's only going to be making $475 and up to $500 million. Only is a relative term, but like it may have been one of the smartest moves ever by the Chiefs to go ahead and just load him up and pay him like a baseball player, and in the long run it could work out for the Chiefs. That could be more like a Tom Brady contract rather than I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl when he's like a $59 million cap hit, but it also depends on how much the cap goes up. If the cap goes up to $250, $300 million, and then all of a sudden a $40 million cap hit is more like 13% of the cap, now you're all of a sudden in business.
Interesting. I will say, like, we got to wrap this up. I'm my energy is just not here. I can sense it. But NFC East, you mentioned your standings. Again, great minds think alike. I have it also being Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, or maybe Cowboys, Giants. Maybe the Giants could leapfrog them now with Dak's injury, but I definitely think it's the Eagles and the Commanders 1 and 2. I think both of us still will make the playoffs. And I predict 9 and 8 going into the season. Maybe it could turn into a 10 and 7, but I won't go there yet. We have to wait and see.
Do you think we're making the playoffs with 9 and 8?
That was my thought going into the regular season, but yeah,
interesting.
NFC is very weak.
Definitely weak on quarterbacks. I know that. But yeah, we'll see on the rest of the front. Okay. And 9 and 8 makes the playoffs?
But again, I can see 10 and 7 right now. I really can, especially because I did not account for the first Dallas game being a W. And I think it's going to be a W now with Dak not being there. So, yeah.
W's. Put W's on the board.
Yeah. Last question, Anthony Johnson here. Should Lamar test free agency? I don't know if Tim might disagree with this, but I mean, if he's on the free agent market and this team is willing to spend, I would love to see Lamar in DC. But that's just me. I don't know if you have a take on that.
I love Lamar. Okay. Lamar is a guy that get him away from Greg Roman and let him flourish. Roman sucks. And he's
we weren't saying that in his MVP season. Everybody was crowning Greg Greg Roman. They were like, oh my gosh, he's one of the best offensive coordinators in the league. Yada yada yada. And then in 2019, yeah.
I didn't have a channel then, so I can't say one way or the other because I don't have the proof of talking about it. So I don't remember ever a time liking Greg Roman. Let's put it that way. I don't remember crowning anything. I was drooling over Lamar, not Roman, because Lamar is what makes Lamar. Right? He's just incredible. He could get around any edge. He's faster than anybody. And if we could end up with an absolute stud like that, it's just it depends on what the number is. It depends on what the numbers are, I guess. Like I don't like paying a quarterback a ton of money. I don't. If we could get him if we could get him on like a Pat Mahomes like deal, lock him up for an eternity, like a decade, and then it's such a high guaranteed number, because I know that's what a lot of people are worried about, the guaranteed number. I don't care about the guaranteed number. I really don't. Okay, it's not my money, and I'm expecting you to be here throughout the contract anyway. So if you're not here, we have bigger problems. I don't care if it's a big dead cap hit. I care more about the number. I care about is what is your cap hit on a year-to-year basis. That's the number I care. And I think if you could get him on a super long deal, I would love Lamar, because Lamar, he's probably the best weapon in football. He's probably the best running back that can throw with the best of them as well. Like if he just moved to running back, he probably could be a top 5 running back.
Everybody's discounting his he's a very, I mean, we saw in 2019, but he's a solid passer. Like who
could throw with the best of them. I'm not discrediting it at all.
Yeah.
No,
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not trying to hate. I know that whenever somebody says about the running back thing, they take that as a slant. No, my point is he's that kind of an athlete that could be a top 5 running back, but then can also throw with the best of them, right? I don't think he's Pat Mahomes. I don't think he's Josh Allen, but top 10 thrower, sure. Yep. Top 15 at worst, just pure throwing. But obviously, what makes Lamar is his legs. Lamar's nothing if he didn't have that freak ability to run the football. That's what makes him such a tremendous weapon.
Well, you just mentioned, but you just said in the previous sentence he's a top 15 and just straight up passer and stuff. And then I would say
the same thing about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, nothing. But he's a top 15 passer.
Yeah, but I don't think Lamar is nothing with his legs. I think he's definitely the best weapon in the league with his legs. But I still think he's a great player. That's what I mean with Lamar Jackson. Like everybody, obviously, his rushing ability is,
Is Kirk Cousins a great player?
No.
Lamar would be.
He's above average
at best. Okay. If you didn't have his legs.
But who knows? Kirk might have a season this year, throwing it to Justin Jefferson. I don't know.
You just need to do this. Jefferson's a stud.
Yeah. Man, he might go for 2,000 yards too.
Yeah, hit $180 in this first game. $180, and they did a good job of here getting him away from Jair. So only they're not trying to be egotistical of our guy's better than your guy. No, we're gonna get him in the best place possible, and we're gonna feed
Kevin O'Connell.
Yep, good deal. I love to hear that. I mean, he was the OC for Cooper Kupp's 1,900-yard year. Why can't he do it with Jefferson? Jefferson's a better receiver than Kupp.
But it was Sean McVay's scheme, right? But no, I get what you mean, though. He was still there. I get it, but Justin Jefferson is different.
O'Connell was the play caller there, though, in the Rams, right? Or does McVay call his own plays? I could be wrong.
That's a good point. I'm not sure.
I don't know who called plays there, but
it's still. I think even crazier than Justin Jefferson potentially going for 2,000 yards this season. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase were teammates, man. 2019. They're teammates. That's crazy. That's crazy.
JJ or Jamar?
JJ. JJ's arguably the best receiver in football right now. The offensive player of the year. I could see that easily.
I love Jamar.
But you're going with Jamar over JJ?
Uh-huh.
Well, stop. Tim.
Hot take.
What?
Hot take. And Justin Jefferson's a dog. And I'm not taking anything away. I'm not saying that. I think that high of Jamar. I think Jamar is amazing.
I mean, I do too. But like in terms of receiving rankings right now, this might be a hot take. Another hot take. I still have Devontae Adams at 1, and then I have Justin Jefferson, and then I'm sorry. I gotta respect Cooper. Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson. Jamar Chase would probably be Stephon Diggs 4, and then Jamar Chase 5. That's my wide receiver rankings right now.
So
although Tyreek could be in.
Adams, Kupp, Jefferson.
Those are 3 locks. Now
Who was the fourth?
outside of that, I said Diggs. Diggs. honestly, Tim, Diggs. Those are my top 3 like set right now. But like 4, 5, 6 could be a combination of Tyreek, Stephon, and Jamar Chase. Like I don't know where you want to rank those, but those are like 4, 5, 6 for me.
Wait, I'm all right. Who's 4, 5, 6? Oh, Tyreek.
Tyreek, Stephon, and Chase.
Tyreek. Interesting.
But my top 3 are Devontae, Cooper, and this could literally change in 2 weeks. Who knows?
Where do you rank Mike Evans?
He's outside of the top 6. Maybe 7.
Spits out 1,000 yards year in and year
I know.
out.
He also has Brady and Jameis who fed him the ball. Force-fed him the ball.
Yeah, but he's amazing too.
I know. Obviously, he's insane, but like I'm just saying in terms of the guys.
Tyreek's speed is obviously tremendous. Tyreek's speed is amazing. Anyway, fun stuff. But I won't hold you any longer.
Nah, bro. But Tim, thank you so much, bro, for coming on. Very short notice too, and you were able to come on this Friday evening of all nights. And yeah, appreciate you, bro. And anything you want to plug before we sign off?
Just come on over to the Tim Sports Talk and hang out with us on the play-by-plays. We'll be doing a play-by-play.
Great play-by-plays.
Of course, for the Skins game or Commanders game, whatever you want to call them. I still call them the Skins on every day. Like, are you a Skins fan? That's what I say. But anyway, the Commanders game against the Lions, 1 o'clock, we'll be there. And then as well as the 8 o'clock or 8:20 or whatever for Sunday night. Who plays this week? I think it's Packers-Bears on this Sunday night. And then it would be the Vikings-Eagles, I believe, on Monday night. And we'll be doing all those games. Am I right on those?
Yes.
But yeah, hang out. Come hang out and have some fun in the chat. We had like almost 1,200 live viewers last game. I'm
not surprised because you are Tim. You are Tim Sports Talk, and people definitely want to hear your takes and stuff, and rightfully so. But
appreciate it.
No problem. Appreciate you, Tim, again for coming on Friday evening. I'm sorry for the energy just not being here at the end, but like we had some great conversations about the game, wide receiving rankings, right? We talked about the Jaguars game, of course, from week 1. We talked about the NFC East, talked about everything. If you guys missed out on anything, hit rewind, go back and watch it. It's been a great stream. And with that being said, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the DMV Sports Zone channel. We like to post fire content like this as much as possible. Also, go follow our Twitter page at DMV Sports Zone, Instagram page, all lowercase DMV Sports Zone, and our TikTok page at DMV Sports Zone as well. Appreciate you, Corey. Appreciate you, Anthony. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Can't get to everyone, but appreciate you guys. And see you on the next one. Peace.